And I didn't have to prove it to anybody else. And that's some things I learned during that. It wasn't about anybody else but me. Because when you're eating right, eating healthy, it only benefits you, that form of self-care. And so there's some things that some decisions I have to make. There's some a next level in my life I want to do. And I know that at this point, I did not have the mental fortitude. I don't have the mental fortitude. And I said, I need something that's going to strengthen my mental fortitude, because everything I've ever done in life and had any kind of success starts with my mind.
Welcome to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, where we get VIP access into the lives of Black women, or as we like to call us here, our Sister Nistas. We get to hear from some of our favorite Sister Nistas as they share their worlds with us and create connections, exchange realities, ideas, and baby, we get to recognize and celebrate how powerful we really are. Our sisterhood here is real, filled with peace, wisdom, hope, love, light, and laughter. You know, the kind you can feel, the kind of encouragement that confirms we can do anything because we have, and the kind of inspiration that proves we can be even greater. This is our world, where if you ain't a Black woman, you may want to be one, or definitely get to know one. It's a Black women's world, and we welcome our Sister Nista lovers too. Welcome to our queendom. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and I'm your host, TracyMac. Come on in and relax and sit with me for just a little while. Peace.
Well, hello, everybody. I am TracyMac, your self-discovery companion, the professional peacemaker, and host of Black Women's World Podcast. That's the BWWP, baby. I know you all who can see us, see one of my dynamic co-hosts, Dina Hamilton. Hey, Miss Dina Hamilton, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hope you are.
I'm all right. We are missing our third wheel, Javon Cookie Jones. I miss her already.
Yay.
But I'm so glad, with all of us being busy and it's always a miracle that three of us can get together for the length of time we do. And I know even this episode, we have some other obligations. So we're just going to jump right on into the conversation. Dina and I, Dina introduced me to this challenge, right? And when I say can she pick 'em? Dina, tell the people about this challenge you introduced me to, that we are on day 9. Are we on day 9?
Yeah. No, we on double digits today.
Oh, we're on day 10.
Yeah,
okay.
This is day 10. Look, we need not go backwards with this. We can't go backwards. No.
We are on day 10. Tell the people about the challenge, Miss Dina Hamilton.
Well, first off, as you see me looking down, if you can see, it's one of those things that I was introduced to back in probably March. I was following my girlfriend Teresa, who's my old hairstylist in Maryland. Shout out to Teresa Hall. And I was looking at her stories because that's where she posted her challenge. As my necklace falls off. But I said, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing? And she was telling me about this thing, and I said, you are absolutely insane. And I said just like that, you're absolutely insane. That is the craziest thing I have ever heard in my whole entire life. So she tells me, I'm going to tell y'all why I thought she was insane, because there are like 5 tasks that you have to complete every day for 75 days in this challenge. One of them is to work out twice a day, 45 minutes each. Workouts have to be within 3 to 4 hours of each other. One of those workouts has to be outside, no matter rain, snow, sleet, shine. I was seeing her run out in the rain. That's when I was like, you are really insane, because, she's a hairstylist, and Black women, we just ain't trying to be out there with our hair. Right. You gotta pick a meal plan and stick to it. You know, the thing says a diet. I just don't like the word diet,
Me
but
either.
you pick a meal plan. You gotta stick to it, right? No cheat days, no cheat meals, no alcohol. You have to drink a gallon of water each day, read 10 pages of a self-development book or some type of business book, and you have to take a progress picture every day. And that's the insaneness that we are on day 10 of right now.
So now, you listeners in the United States, France, the United Kingdom, Germany, Brazil, and we have 4 other new countries that have joined us for the first time. Dana, we have Norway, Belgium, and Australia. Sorry, 3 new. Oh, and Denmark. It is 4. So everybody listening all over the world. When Dina picked this challenge, I said, "Boy, can you pick them?" And at first, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it. Any of you who know Dina and I, we've had different cohorts. One we did called Boost Me, which was weight loss, financial health. And then we kind of upgraded the course, and it was called Food, Folks, and Funds. Food, FOLKS, folks. That was about relationships. And funds, FUNDS, because Dina and I had a health journey. We were on a financial journey, and everything's about relationships. So, Dina, how much had you lost prior to this challenge? How much weight have you lost?
65 pounds.
Okay. Dina had lost 65, and I lost a total of 128. And so we were doing it. You already adjusted your health journey, whether it be exercising, eating right, and there were nothing involved, no gastric bypass. This was just eating different and exercising. So we did it old school. And so you reach a point where you hit a plateau, and I reached a plateau in January 2019, and I couldn't hit my 100-pound goal. I was stuck at 86 pounds. And that's when I started doing intermittent fasting. And that broke that ceiling, and I started losing weight. So pandemic pounds hit. And I was just going to go with the flow. So when Dina brought up this challenge, I was like, I ain't doing that. That's hard. And I thought about it, and I said, why can't you do it? Because the first point about a challenge is it starts with mindset. Dina, what do you think about that? It starts with the mind.
You're absolutely right, because in my mind, when Teresa first started going through it, I think I caught her in at day 25. Yeah, but my first reaction was, you're insane. It wasn't, oh, go. You do. It was nothing positive or encouraging. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Teresa. I apologize. It was nothing encouraging. No encouraging words that I have for her.
Yeah.
When to see her go through it. But my mind wasn't. My mind was not there, and her mind really was. And what this process is teaching me is that there is a certain level of mental toughness that we all have to have in our lives, and it doesn't even have to do with this particular challenge or anything. It's anything that you have going on in your life. Is about how mentally tough can you be. How are you going to persevere through this thing that you think you cannot do? What is it that's going to make you cross the finish line? Why is it that others can cross it and it seems that I cannot? There's got to be a difference between the successful and the unsuccessful. And when I say the successful and the unsuccessful, I'm not meaning the successful as in the Bill Gates of the world, and those are people, because they do have to have some type of mental toughness as well. But I'm just talking about the lady who can lose 10 pounds versus the one who can't seem to lose one, or the one who can save $100 to send their children on a field trip versus the others who just can't manage to get 50. There's
Right.
type of mental toughness that we all have to have if we plan on achieving any goal that we set out to achieve.
You're absolutely right, Dina. I agree, because especially when you know that there's another level in life, and I don't mean higher or lower, but just a different space that you need to work out of. And if you know that you've got this desire or these dreams and you need to develop that, and that's why I ended up saying yes, because it wasn't about the weight loss, because I already proved to myself I can
That
do
you
it.
can do it. Right.
I lost 128 pounds, and I
A
proved
whole
that to
person.
myself.
A
and
whole
I
person.
and I didn't have to prove it to anybody else. And that's some things I learned during that. It wasn't about anybody else but me, because when you're eating right and eating healthy, it only benefits you. That form of self care. And so there's some things that some decisions I have to make. There's some a next level in my life I want to do, and I know that at this point I did not have the mental fortitude. I don't have the mental fortitude. And I said, I need something that's going to strengthen my mental fortitude, because everything I've ever done in life and had any kind of success starts with my mind. And so you just mentioned, Dina, whether it be 1 pound, 10 pounds, or $1 or $100, or $10 or $100. Sometimes people will look, they may look at you or look at me and say, oh, you did that because you so and so and so. People don't know the hell and the high water that we go through to get things done. And there's an assumption that because you can do it, that I can't do it. But I think once you make up your mind and take that first step, and know what the end game is. We always talk about, Dana, knowing your why. But what are the results you want? I know for me, I'm going to appreciate the physical weight loss, because I better lose something. I'm going to appreciate the inches lost. But that's not why I did it. I did it because when you told me all of the requirements, I said, you know how mentally strong I'm going to have to be to do that, make those adjustments and plan for 75 days. Oh yeah, I need to do this.
Yeah.
So what was your why?
Well, I find the most challenge in things that I think that I can't do. Like, can I really do this? How many times can I really? But if you think about it, Tracy, and all of you sister nieces and sister niece lovers, when have you gotten the most gratification out of anything, right? So let's think. If I'm gonna ask, just what would really make you happy? Where would you be your happiest?
Yes.
What's the happiest you've ever been? Is it while you were laying down on the beach? Or, do you think you'd be really, really happy if, you had somebody bringing you a margarita right now, although that does sound really good. If you somebody bringing you one right now, would you really be very, very happy with that? And I think, yes, I think I could be happy with that. I think I could live life with that. But I'm going to challenge you. And this was what I was challenged with, even as I was doing my reading, was when have you truly been the happiest? And if you think long enough, you have truly been your happiest when you have conquered something you did not think that you could ever conquer. Yes. That's really when you've truly been your happiest. The day you walk across the stage and get your diploma, there was some struggle with that, right?
Yes.
There was struggle with it. You probably thought, I'm never getting out of this chemistry class, much less getting out of here with a diploma or a degree. But you were so happy when you crossed that stage because you conquered something. You achieved something in your life that you set out to achieve. When you lost that 128 pounds, even with all the struggle, all the plateaus, all the everything, when you look down on that scale and saw whatever it was, were you not happy? Were you not dancing around for Jesus in the back?
Yes. And you know what, Dina? I could not wait until the 128. I had to be that at the 1 pound, at the 5, before I even started losing weight. You know how I started my journey? Just keeping a food diary. I was not aware of how unhealthy I was eating. And I know that may sound foreign to some other people, but whether you're listening in San Antonio, Atlanta, North Carolina, Chicago, and New York, those are our top 5. Sometimes to start, all you have to do is take an assessment of where you are. Sometimes people, I think, get to the point where they see the goal and it gets so overwhelming that they don't want to take a chance and don't want to take even the risk of failure. And you know how many times I failed? Because this was just the 2015. You know how many times I tried to lose weight over the course of my life? Gain and loss, gain and loss, gain and loss. And even on this journey, you're not always in losing mode. You gain, you plateau, like Dina just said. But I had to start out by just being honest about where I was. And when I saw what I was eating and the time of day, I was never a huge eater to eat the amounts, but I was eating a bunch of junk. I was eating at the wrong time of day. So when I did an assessment first of just what I was doing, it had to shed light on, okay, what do I want to do different? And like Dina just said about knowing what makes you feel happy, no matter what journey you're on. You may not have a weight issue. You need to be on a health journey, maybe a financial journey, a relationship journey. It may be a business, but you know that feeling of accomplishment. You know, the satisfaction of succeeding at something that was it was a challenge. And this 75-day challenge, it's a big deal. And for me, because I'm going into it to see day 75.
Stay tuned for more of the BWWP. An Amazon best-selling author with an Art Book Club Incorporated 5-star rating and your self-discovery companion, TracyMac is setting positive change ablaze with her 3 incredible books. Do you lead? What if there was a resource specifically designed to sharpen thought systems and optimize wisdom for the keen mind of our C-suite professionals, progressive leaders, and social change agents? Well, there is. Thought Systems, How Progressive Professionals Nurture Their Wisdom. TracyMac has brilliantly created a comprehensive collection of wisdom principles for those who lead, ultimately benefiting those who choose to follow. Your solution has arrived. If you are ready to live an amazing life of change with sustainable results and measurable success, get your copy of 1 or all 3 of these awesome books where fine books are sold today to start your journey.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast.
Let's continue the conversation.
Right. And I'm with you. I marked 75 days on the calendar. It was, I know exactly when it's going to be. It is August the 14th.
Yes.
I'm excited about that day. I can see it already. And that is key, I think, to success. You just really got to know what your end game is. All of you, or some of you may know that I'm in real estate, and in this country, real estate is off the charts. And in one of my realtor groups, it was a post that says, these due diligence fees are insane. They're 10, 20, 25, 30,
Yes.
$40,000. And the post goes on to say, but my clients do not have this kind of money to put in the game like that. And my immediate thought then, since on this challenge, is, why don't our clients have this kind of money to get in the game like that? I said the same thing. I just said it a different way. Why don't my clients have this kind of money to get in the game like that?
Yes.
It's because there are people who do and have done things differently. And we just got to learn how to do things differently. And that's a challenge. It's like when you start your job, there's a 401k. Some invest, some don't. But that money that you invest in your 401k, that could be the money. In fact, it was the money that I used to buy my very first home. So it is not even thinking that way. I wasn't thinking that way at first. I just did it because that's what my daddy told me to do. Was not even thinking, when I found out that I could use, and they offer it, do you have the money in your 401k?
Yes.
And I asked those kinds of questions too. And then I said, I don't know. Let me see, because when you're just putting away things and they're done automatically, you have no idea what's where. And when I found out, I have the money to do this? Really?
And Dina, that's a good point for someone on a financial journey. You don't miss money you can't see.
You do not miss nothing.
You don't miss money you can't see. You don't miss food you can't see on a health journey.
Yeah.
If you don't buy it, it ain't in the house. And I think that in something that with this challenge for me, one of the most challenging thing is drinking the water. I'm an avid reader. I read all the time. Dina will tell you I just laid out probably way too many facts before we started talking because I read. So reading isn't a problem. Going outside, exercising twice a day has been extremely challenging, but it's that water. But there's nothing in life that's going to always be easy when you have a goal, when you have things you want to do. And I say all the time, choose your heart. The years I spent extremely overweight, having several different comorbidity diseases, that was hard. It was hard for me to travel. It was hard for me to take medications and have to take off work to go to doctor's appointments. That was hard and it was expensive. Some people say it's expensive to eat right. Well, it depends. I mean, if you go old school, it really isn't. Cucumbers, tomatoes, and strawberries. And Dina and I both eat a lot of that. That's very inexpensive. So again, I'm not advocating, but it's when you're thinking about any type of challenge, the main thing you got to go in with is changing your mind. If you get this thing right here together, the body will follow. The money will follow. The right relationships will follow. The career goals will follow when you get your mind right. And then as Dina was just saying about, the end game, what results do you want? So you got to know what what you're working towards. Then you want to expound on that a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely. So, okay, we'll get back to this particular challenge. When I saw the physical change in my girlfriend Teresa, I was astonished. I was like, this happened in 75 days. So in her mind already, she knew what she wanted her end result to be. When I bought, and I'm sure when you too, because we've discussed this as single women, Tracy and I both bought our homes, our first homes. So when that was the end game, I was in a season in my life where everyone around me was buying homes. That is what I thought I should be doing. When I was in high school, even though my parents at the time had not graduated from college, the high school they sent me to, all of the white people were going to college. So if they were going, that is something that I guess I should have been aspiring to do as well. So when you are in an environment where everyone is excelling or at least moving or matriculating through these phases of life, and well, I ain't gonna speak for everybody. I did not want to be left behind because if this is what my peers are doing, then it's obviously something in my mind. It's obviously something that I too should be aspiring to do. But that's all about environment. It's all about exposure. So when all I could see when all of my co-workers were purchasing homes without excuse, it wasn't I'm single or I'm this. They didn't there was no excuses. They were talking about, yes, I closed this day, I closed that day, I said, well, dang, I need to be doing that as well. So
because you become it becomes contagious. Point blank, period. Energy and frequency. And I ain't trying to be woohoo spooky, but spirit becomes contagious. You become like the 5 people you hang around the most. And so when I did it, it was because I was told young Black women did not buy houses. And then once I heard somebody say your home is the most money you will spend on an investment, in your life, I was working 3 jobs and I was like, I ain't paying rent to nobody else. So it wasn't no homeowners programs back then. You talking about the 90s, And so it was because I saw other people, and because I hadn't planned on getting married, I wasn't waiting for a husband to do this for or with me. So I was like, okay, I'm making money. If I can just save X amount, I found out what was required. And that's the other thing about a challenge. Find out what is required. That's number 3. What do I have to do that or get that? And you may have to go a different route. You don't change the goal, but you got to change the plan. So I've had to change the plan on this challenge many a time. I've had to plan more. I've got to go out of town several times within the next few weeks, and I'm having to plan. Okay, I'm going to be out of town at this hotel. Where can I work out outside? So it requires you, but to know the requirements. So number one, when you're talking about any kind of challenge, is go in with the right mindset. Number two, know the end game. What results do you want? And then number three is you have to know the requirements. And I may have them in reverse. They're not linear. So you can take them any kind of way you want to in the order that suits you or helps you along. But take on a challenge. Take a risk. Life is all about risk, whether it's investment risks. And anything about investments, it's about the long game.
It is about that. That is so, oh my God, that is so on point. You see how excited I'm getting? I'm just so, because do you know how many people do not buy homes because they think they can? Oh, I can't buy one. They don't know their credit score. They don't know how much it's going to cost them. They don't know how much home they can afford. They know nothing, but in their minds, they already say, I can't do it. So it is so important to know the requirements because, okay, worst case scenario, you don't meet them today.
Mm-hmm. But how can you?
Then your goal is to meet the requirements.
Yes. It's just like when people say, I want to be successful. If you have never defined it, you could be successful right now and it's slapping you in the face, but you haven't defined what it is. I have people say, when you get, or, I hear people say, Tracy, when you get this, or when your podcast grows here, or whatever, I'm like, you have no idea. I have already met so many of my success goals. Anything else I do in life is gravy. Do you hear me? But I think meet the challenge. Step it up. Do it with a friend, whatever it takes, but take a risk. Start a challenge. Challenge yourself because there's so much more to us than what we believe sometimes. And sometimes it takes a challenge to pull us into another level, to prove to us how brilliant and wonderful and smart and strong. And even if we look at the Sister Nista spirit, strength, royalty, excellence, authenticity, moxie, class, all those things it requires. You can't just do that dormant. You got to take on a challenge. Live a little. Dina, as we close, you have any encouraging words for anybody who to help them take on a challenge and to see it through?
Yes, I'm going to encourage you as I am sitting here, encourage myself, that it is all talk to yourself. I was talking to you, but really I was talking to myself. And as I got to talking, did you see my excitement level come through as I had just got to talking? And in fact, I talked myself into this challenge after explaining it to someone else. I said, it's not about the weight loss. It is about mental toughness. And I said, you know what? I want to be more mentally tough.
Yes.
I just signed up in my mind at that very point. I can go back and show it to. I have just talked to yourself the way that you want others to pump yourself up the way you want others to do it. Because I guarantee if I can't pump myself up, I'm not going to be able to do it for you either. But you know what?
Right.
I have learned through these challenges in life, Tracy, as I know you have too. Mm-hmm. You just talked about it. The weight loss was yours and yours alone. It will only benefited you, you and you alone. This goal will only benefit you and you alone. And if you got anything to prove to anybody, it is to yourself.
Absolutely.
You owe anyone else. You owe you. You owe it to you to be and do the best that you could possibly be and do. And let me get off my soapbox because you see, I'm pumped now.
Yeah, you pump. And listen, Sister
Yeah.
Nieces and Sister Niece lovers, you can do it too. And we don't mean you can do it like us, but you can do whatever your thing is. You can do it too. Encourage yourself, as the psalmist David says. And a lot of times you get encouragement as you go. And back to the Bible, as the children of Israel stepped into the when the Red Sea was parted, they stepped onto dry land. So sometimes you're not going to see your success until you take the first step. And then the next step, and before you know it, you'd have crossed all the way over on dry land, and nothing consumed you. You didn't drown. You didn't, because you can make it. And it's not something we don't know, but take a challenge. Take on a challenge. It doesn't have to be this one, but even if it's a little thing, if you need to save a couple of $100 for a particular thing, save it. If you need to go back to school, go. If you have a weight loss story, or maybe health gains, you might need to gain weight, because all weight, everybody don't need to lose. Whatever it is, you deserve it, because taking care of yourself is the best self-care ever. So listen, take on a challenge. I know sometimes it may be hard, but so is not. Can you imagine how successful you will feel by taking on the hard and overcoming versus not doing it? How hard that will be. 75 days from now, Dean and I will look back and say, we did it. But can you imagine somebody who could have taken the challenge, looking back and choosing the hard of saying, I could have finished with them? So whatever you choose to do, whatever just imagine succeeding and follow through. So much love and peace. I'm TracyMac, and I thank God for my co-host, Dana Hamilton. And hopefully next time we will have Javon Cookie Jones back with us. So Sister Nieces and Sister Niece lovers all over the world and in the United States, and our favorite 5 cities, Austin, Texas, Atlanta, North Carolina, Chicago, and New York. Thank you so much for listening to the BWWP. Much love and peace.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, brought to you in part by TracyMac Solutions for Life Institute, coaching and training services. No doubt you have enjoyed being in our world, and it doesn't have to stop here. Head on over to blackwomensworld.com. This is my personal invitation to you to stay connected with me on social media and more. I'd love to see you there, and I'm so grateful you came to be with me here. Invite someone else to join you in our queendom next time, so they can feel the vibe of our tribe of Sister Niestas and Sister Niesta lovers too. Remember to be kind, be authentic, be generous, be excellent, be grateful, and while you're at it, go ahead and be extraordinary, because that's just what Sister Niestas do, on purpose, through mission, with passion and compassion. It's a Black woman's world, baby, and you, my Sister Niesta, are proof. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and your host, TracyMac. Wherever you are in the world, may you love and be loved by somebody. Peace.